was unlocked by you all, the faithful, in April's Q&A Super Chat sweepstakes. And tonight's topic was chosen at random on the wheel, right? The discussion of the week wheel that was unveiled during the Q&A, but the topic was suggested by OAW faithful No Longer Human. So once again, sir, thank you so much for participating in the Super Chat sweepstakes this past month's Q&A. Thanks everybody who contributed to unlock this perk, this Super Chat goal. And if you have a topic that you would like to see discussed on Discussion of the Week, please become a patron of OAW Entertainment at patreon.com/OAW and select the Discussion of the Week tier. And with that being said, real quick, I feel the need to throw out another disclaimer for you all because the content this week's been a little bit heavy. Real quick, just another disclaimer for you all. Okay. It is not my intention on this channel to alienate any of my viewers. Okay. I'm an equal opportunity geek. Okay. I love everybody for the most part. I love most. Don't quote me on that. But point being is, it is not my intention to alienate. Okay. That being said, though, tonight's Discussion of the Week video is intended for a particular audience. So anyone can watch it. By all means, feel free. But tonight's message and tonight's discussion is really tailored towards a particular audience. So I'll get into more detail with that on the other side of the intro card. So with that being said, tonight we are going to discuss the current state of masculinity in the Black community. Lord help me. Let's get it started.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Greetings to everyone watching live and everyone watching after the fact. Shout out to the faithful and salute to the patrons. This is Larry Williams, OAW Commander-in-Chief, here to bring you all a new Discussion of the Week video, man. Seems like it's been forever since we did Discussion of the Week. But as I mentioned in the intro, this video was unlocked as one of the Super Chat goals in last month's Q&A entitled the Super Chat Sweepstakes. And tonight's topic was selected at random from the Discussion of the Week wheel, but it was suggested by OAW faithful No Longer Human. I hope he's watching. Thanks so much for providing the subject for tonight's video. So yeah. All right, guys. So let's go. Oh, and just so you all know, we will, like, as has become the new trend, with the Q&A, with the live broadcast, I will be doing questions at the end of tonight's broadcast, but those are going to be but the ones pertaining to tonight's topic are going to be the ones prioritized. But of course, any and all super chats, questions, and comments, I will answer. I will read. Don't worry about that. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I see everyone is coming in. All right, guys. So before I get started in tonight's discussion, I got a couple of guests for you all. All right. So first and foremost, let me just get the quick introduction out of the way, right? This man, y'all done seen him on the channel before. Y'all already know what he's about. Y'all can hit him up. Actually, you know what? Let me bring him in before I mess up his link. But I got my man Dragnot in the building. Dragnot, say what's happening to the people.
What's going on? What's going on?
Dragnot, real quick, tell for the people who might not be familiar with you, tell the people what your channel is about, what kind of content you make, and where they can find you.
Oh man, so my content is for those kind of interested in talking about things theological. So I will actually discuss and oftentimes critique and criticize people who use religion as a shield and sometimes as a cudgel against people. And every so often you'll hear me talk about some of the stuff that I actually do in real life. I'm actually finishing my bachelor's degree in biology with a specialization in cellular, molecular, and biotechnology. But you can find me on YouTube and playing most games under the alias Dragnot Silvis.
All right, cool. All right, so second guest I got for you all tonight. Real quick, did we ever hear back from Nate?
No, Nate's going to be spending time with the fam tonight, so he had to decline.
Okay, okay. All right, no problem, not a problem. All right, so real quick, another guest now. I'm trying to get this introduction out of the way. All right, so this guest, first time actually, an OAW first, right? First time on OAW. This is an old college buddy of mine, old college roommate of mine. But he's also another content creator, mostly music. Mostly music. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead, introduce him to the people. Zayas, if you can hear me, my man, say what's happening to the people.
It's Eyes to the Shadows. I'm a music producer, and I'm feeling damn good today, or tonight rather.
You must be.
Instagram.com/Zayas to the Shadows, beatstars.com/Zayas to the Shadows. I'm not big enough like my homie here to have an Instagram link or a YouTube link yet.
I'm not on the ground, so
I'll hook y'all with that later. But thank you for having me on.
Not a problem, not a problem. All right, so here's the thing. Since somebody decided, they went ahead and dropped in the chat. They were like, a symbol. I'm like, yeah, I know, right? Taking it back, right? Hashtag 10 years. Anywho, but the reason why I assembled you gentlemen here tonight is because the topic we got going on. Okay, first and foremost, I ain't want to talk about this by my damn self. Number one, I ain't want to talk about this about my damn self because I get the feeling I'm gonna hurt a lot of feelings. All right. So that was number one. That was the big thing. I didn't want to do this by myself. But also I wanted to be able to get some different perspectives about tonight's topic because not only did I want to talk to some other brothers, but both of you gentlemen, and yes, because I personally know you, but both of you gentlemen are raising young black men right now.
True.
So that was a particular interest, and then another little caveat, another little thing, little gem I'll throw out there. Zayas, you're an educator, so you're educating young black men right now. So that being said, and then drag, are you still studying? What is it? Is it biochemistry?
Yeah, so I'm in a biochemistry lab now. So yeah, but a part of my master's work, when I eventually move on to that, I will have to teach people as well. That will be a part of it.
So we got a biochemist, we got a teacher, both of which black men, black fathers, and my man Jay. If you want on, dude, the link is, hit up Facebook. The link is in the group chat on Facebook. Come through. Dude, if J-Man's come in, I'm losing my shit. Come through, Jay. Come through. All right. So, gentlemen. So I went ahead. I decided, I hit you guys up. I tried to put together this panel as best I could to try and get as, I don't know if I can necessarily say as well-rounded, but a much more in-depth perspective about what we got going on tonight. Because my man, No Longer Human, he hit me up. And actually, I think he mentioned. I think this was mentioned on Facebook first, and then he posted it in the comments during the Q&A to add to the wheel. But it's something I know he's been wanting me to talk about for a while. And like I said, I find it awfully funny too. Granted, this was part of the curation in the same month that my man Don Tavis hit me up. I don't know if y'all saw my recent movie review, but a couple of days ago, I reviewed A Fatherless America, which is the documentary by Tommy Sotomayor. And it's talking about pretty much the single mother epidemic, right? Especially in the black community. So that, and then this, and I'm just like, oh man, this is some heavy shit we gonna have to get into. But my man, No Longer Human, did not just leave us out here naked, all right? I got some questions. We were able, because we went back and forth in the email and whatnot. We were able to narrow this down to about 5 specific questions, and us discussing the state of masculinity in the black community as it pertains to those 5 questions. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna pull up those questions, and we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get this started. All right. All right. So. And somebody mentioned in the comments, I'm gonna piss a lot of people off. I bet I will. There's gonna be a lot of brothers all up in their feelings. But once again, as I mentioned with the disclaimer at the beginning of the video, look, brothers, I understand. Hopefully, what you get out of this broadcast is information you need to know and not necessarily what you want to hear. I'll be honest with you, I have little interest in what you want to hear. But I've always, 10 years now, I've always told y'all what I thought y'all needed to know. So why change now?
Yeah.
Why change form now? All right, so gentlemen, and I am reading in the description box for anybody who wants to read along. By all means, read in the description box below. All right, so in this discussion of the week video, we will address the current state of masculinity in the Black community as it pertains to the following questions. The number one, first question. Are there differences between white male masculinity and Black male masculinity? And if so, what are those differences? So, Zaya, since you're new to the channel, I am going to go ahead and let you answer this one first. Good, sir.
So, paint a picture for me. What is Black masculinity, first of all?
Well, I mean, I'd imagine we'd have to define that, right?
That's what I'm. But I can't speak for the other side of the coin. So, hey, I don't know. Is there a difference? I'll piggyback.
So let me jumpstart this. So
okay, yeah, you do that.
Because I had to add some time, because when Larry told me about the topic, I was like, is there a real difference? But I said, hold on for a second. If we identify differences between racial groups, we identify differences between any group of people, that's going to play itself out. It's going to permeate through everything. There are going to be inherent differences somewhere. I said, all right, well, when it comes, what does a masculine Black male look like, right? So most people could easily associate Black males through stereotypes. So when you think of someone like Tookie Williams, and both of y'all should know who Tookie Williams is.
Mm-hmm. From the Crips, right?
Stanley Tookie Williams.
Yes. If you're in the chat and you don't know who Tookie Williams is, Google that right now and pull up a picture of Tookie Williams. There's nobody on the face of this planet who will tell you that he does not embody what Black masculine can look like in some form. The man is very large. This man is very Black, and he is very intimidating. Those key things add to the stereotype that is then placed upon any Black male. So when we talk about Black masculinity, the man himself being a product of his environment, going to prison, that is a part of what that masculine image looks like. So we don't have to get into any of the buck breaking or too savage, but I am referencing the savage Black stereotype. That is what I am identifying. The issue with that is that it becomes dangerous in my view. A masculine Black male is then taken, let's say age 14, as an aggressive 19, 20-something year old Black male. That their age gets increased. The same thing with young Black girls. They are seen as less innocent because they are perceived to be older than they are, conversely. So when I hear Black masculinity, that's what I would associate it with.
Okay. So what I'm pretty much my answer to this question is, because it has less to do with defining one or the other, and it has more to do with this. So you asked me, we were asked, are there differences between white male masculinity and Black male masculinity? And if so, what are those differences? I'm going to say, are there differences? Yes. What's the difference? What is allowed? That's the difference. So what is allowed by a Caucasian man and what is allowed by an African-American man in modern day society, and especially in America, two different things. A white man's allowed to be angry in public. A Black man is not.
Aggression, yeah. Oh
right.
yeah, aggression.
Right. A Black man is not. A Caucasian male who is intelligent is somewhat appreciated within his culture, not in the Black community. And in fact, not only are you not appreciated within your own community, you're made a target in the other one. Contrary to to give an opposite example of what my man Drag was talking about, because Drag was talking about the stereotypical portrayal of black masculinity and how it's seen as a negative. I'm gonna give you the other side. I'm gonna give you the other side of that coin. If you are an intelligent black man, especially in America, you're considered a threat. So that's why, regardless of if you in white collar, blue collar, if you in a hoodie or if you in a 3-piece suit, you're still considered a threat. It's just the different environments. Because let's keep this in mind. You don't fish and go deer hunting in the same place, right? So it's just different environments, but you're still perceived as a threat, right? So things like that's one of those differences. I would also go as far as to say, in terms of how you are, if you are a conventionally masculine black man, right? Whether it's, technically speaking, you're always considered a threat, because every example I could think of how you are treated differently all comes from that same place. You're considered a threat. Or the flip side of another part of it is you're a fetish. Either one of those, you're considered an item. Very seldomly are you ever considered a person. And the more conventionally masculine you are, I think that just makes that response worse. Because notice, we don't have a problem with see, I'm about to piss some people off now. Feminine black men. Have you noticed that feminine black men are almost disarming? No one really considers them much of a threat. Have you noticed that?
Oh, sure.
Yeah. And
we don't consider women threats. So if you display the attributes of a woman, I mean, I'm dead serious. How many women do you actually, unless she's Ronda Rousey, right? And she could probably break my arm. Outside of that, there aren't too many women that I'd ever find intimidating. So if you display the attributes of something like that, then you could say it's disarming.
Yeah. So that's pretty much that's my answer for that question is like, are there differences? Well, technically they're only differences because we treat them differently, if that makes sense. Yep. So white masculinity, black masculinity, if it's conventional, traditional masculinity, it's the same thing. The only difference is how those are
it's perceived.
So, that's what creates the difference.
I'm looking at Jakeem's comment, and I see being criminal is part of the black community. No, I was referencing the perception of black masculinity, not that it inherently involves being criminal, but because if that were the case, then I wouldn't be masculine. So it's the perception of what being a black male identifying person is. That criminality comes part and parcel with that in this society. Unfortunately, I don't agree with it, obviously, but it is an undeniable truth. And we have studies, sociological studies, and etc., to actually show that just something that sounds black, a black sounding name, is inherently a target. There's a stigma around it.
Yeah. So, Zayas, you got anything?
I'm still, like, as I told you in chat a few moments ago or a few hours ago, my perception of things have changed, dramatically. So the paint a picture of let's just take off the adjectives. Paint a picture of masculinity for me. What is defined as masculinity?
I would make it synonymous with testosterone.
Anyone.
Oh, wait a minute. No, he didn't. Wait.
Uh-oh.
Hang on. Oh, no, he didn't.
Sure did.
Is this Hugo?
No.
Then who the hell is Eugene? Oh, Jay. Man, nigga, don't nobody call you Eugene.
Is that?
I call you Eugene.
That's the fighting gentleman. That's the fighting gentleman.
Is this still? Oh,
holy shit! So you know what's funny about this? I think I have. Okay, no, because technically me and AJ never lived together. I have two of my old roommates. Nigga, why are you hiding your face? We've seen your face on camera before on the channel.
Just show off the mask. That's all.
Oh, that's
Oh,
okay. Well, if that's what we're
Greg
doing,
Eugene, long time no see, partner.
Hey, what's up, man? It's been a minute.
Yeah, I'm
This
glad you're doing well.
this a Stokes reunion.
yes, it is.
Oh, God. Yeah, where Bryce at?
Colorado.
He gone. Oh, damn it.
And
Where all
besides,
the weed at?
and besides, it's like I love Bryce, but like I said at the beginning of the video, tonight's conversation is for the brothers. It's for the brothers to hash out, man.
That's right.
It's for the brothers.
So I like Elias's question. What does masculine look like? If you have to, go ahead, man.
Okay, real quick. Since Jace since he joined, I want to go ahead, Jay. So did you catch the beginning of the stream?
Not really, but I looked over the questions again. That's part of really why I wasn't going to join, because I'm like, I don't know what I could add, and I didn't really think about it too much, even though, like, basically I wouldn't have like a whole lot to. I wouldn't have a whole lot of sources to present to increase my argument. So it'd mostly be from opinion. I'll just be honest. But
okay, well that's fine too. So the first question was, are there differences between white and black masculinity, and if so, what are those differences?
No, not really. Because ultimately we're talking about two different cultures. On a psychological level, it's going to equal to be the same thing. So while they are different on the surface, ultimately, when you take race away from the equation, which I hate to say it, yeah, I guess that's the only sense that it would actually work for me. If race is removed from the equation, because then you're only looking at men. You're not looking at a white man or a red man or anything like that. Right,
exactly. So what happened with that is, it's like, we went ahead, we all gave our piece on the question. But Zayas brought up a point where he says, well, define masculinity first and foremost. And
that's
then
actually a good question too.
Right. And then Drag was getting into to more detail with that. So Drag, the question you had right before Jay jumped in.
So I'm late.
Nah, it's fine. Drag, you there? Nope, this fool. Okay. All right. Okay, well then try that. Cause Zayas, this is your question, right? He's like, you said define masculinity, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you want to tackle that, Jay, or should I do it? Because I can tell you what I think.
You can tackle it. Go ahead.
I can tell you what I think it is. All right, I'll tell you. I'll tell you
Okay.
exactly what I think masculinity. Well, what it entails. Okay. Granted, this definition will probably be different for a lot of people, depending on where you come from. This is that and the other. But I'm not gonna make this some big, complex, exoteric fucking thing. Okay. We know masculinity when we see it. If you did not have the fortune, once again, I'm not admonishing anyone. If you didn't have the fortune,
broke 5 broke.
Whether or not it applies to your father is a little bit different, because I have a lot of young viewers. Your grandfather was what was masculine. Chances are, if your grandfather came up, prior to the sexual revolution, he would be what I would consider to be traditionally masculine, because that's what it was back then. That's how men were back then. So if you're fortunate enough to know anyone that old, or to have anyone like that in your life, or to have been around someone, have that person in your sphere of influence, that's traditionally masculine. Theodore Roosevelt was traditionally masculine. Malcolm X was traditionally masculine. Nelson Mandela was traditionally masculine. There's just
depends on what the generational standard is for
no, but I'm talking about traditional now. I'm not talking about this new wave.
Oh yeah,
that we have. I'm talking about traditional. Okay, so what are some things that I would consider masculine? Okay, first and foremost, you prioritize reason over emotion. Number one, I think that's traditionally masculine. You don't run around emoting all the damn time. You prioritize this first. And then if you feel some kind of way about a situation, okay, right? So that's number one.
Right.
The old Spider-Man catchphrase, right? With great power comes great
That comes great
responsibility. I
responsibility.
would
Yeah.
also go as far as to say that that could also entail with great authority comes great responsibility. Of
It
course,
depends, man.
that's something you will not fucking find today because men don't have authority anymore. Um,
Not as much. No.
Zay, you disagree, man? Speak up, man. Come on.
hang on, hang on.
I love Larry's bluntness.
Please
you
don't
what?
mention the patriarchy.
I love Larry's bluntness.
My bluntness. I'm just being
He's
honest.
always been that way.
Men don't have power no more. I want him to flesh that out. I want to get through it, but I want to hear.
Yeah, I want to actually
may
hear
or
his
may
take
not
on that.
agree with him, but I want him to flesh that out. But no, go ahead and continue the list.
Okay. Let me see. What else would I consider to be traditionally masculine? Talk, don't do. I think. Speak with your actions. I think that.
Actions speak louder than words. Yeah, no, I would agree.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Let's see. What else would I? Well, okay. First and foremost, you don't have to be told or coerced or anything like that to take care of something. Like you take care of it just because you know it needs to be fucking taken care of.
Can
No
I
one
ask
has.
a question?
What's up?
So if a lady or a woman has these characteristics, is she a masculine woman?
If she decides to do it on her own, yeah.
But
What if
see,
you
I
take
see what
offense to
Brian,
that?
I see
Doesn't
what
mean
I see
she's
what
gay,
Brian's
though.
bringing up, because if so a woman displaying the traits of self-motivation and self-determination, that's not just something that's inherent to people. That's an inherently masculine trait. That's what he's getting at.
I would say more so than other.
It's not seen as often in women.
It's more common in men than it is in women.
Yeah.
Even if that more is just 50.1%.
Right. The exception to the rule is not the standard.
Right.
It just further instills it.
Right.
Right, but that may be tied into femininity, right? Letting the man lead, right? Because I think that's the converse to that.
Yes, it is.
So
Right.
if she, and hypothetically, if she values traditional gender roles, right, she's going to slip into that role so that the man can then slip into his role, which would be taking the authority, so on and so forth. But
Exactly.
I think that's where the dividing line is now, and I think that may be the demarcation that Larry is getting at, as far as what is now common. You know what? I'm going to go do bad all by myself. So, but go ahead, Zayas, man. Go ahead.
Yeah. Feel free. I mean, I'm pretty much done.
Let me play devil's advocate.
Oh, I hate this shit. AJ, what did I just say about motherfuckers coming on here just to be contrarian? Okay, go ahead.
I thought about doing that too, but I'm like, why would I
I'm
do
not
that
doing
now?
this to be. I'm not doing this to be
Go ahead.
contrarian because it's just it begs my mind a little bit. But
Okay, go ahead.
what about a feminine male?
What about him?
Do he not have these qualities as well?
He probably does.
You can.
He can.
But I mean,
It's
So
not a
he
straight
doesn't-
jacket.
Will he still be considered a feminine male though?
Yeah, because he'll probably have those other feminine qualities as well.
it depends on what's predominant, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why gay men are a minority.
Oh, I don't know, man. You ever been in Atlanta? Well,
You couldn't see. Yeah, I have. I used to live in Atlanta
you should
before
know
it was
that.
gayer than it is now.
Oh, you moved out and started getting gay.
Yeah, but here's the thing
Yeah.
though. Here's the thing
You
though.
wouldn't have met me had I not done that.
Here's the thing though. Those types of traits though they coincide. Well, actually no, they don't necessarily coincide with sexual preference.
Yeah, they really don't.
Because they're. I mean, how many gay dudes are in prison?
Because being feminine or masculine has nothing to do with what you. I mean, I'm pretty much reiterating what you just said. Like earlier, you said like a masculine woman. That doesn't, like I even said the comment, that doesn't mean that she's gay though. It just
Right.
means that she shows traits that are not traditional amongst females.
Right.
Emotions over logic, blah blah blah. The list goes on and on with that.
Right. So yeah. So did you have anything to add about that?
I don't know. I was done with.
Yeah, because I was about to say I'm regrettably sober. I was waiting for you to continue, but damn.
Well, I'm not
I
drinking this
concur.
stream, so I would appreciate if you didn't. But afterwards,
Well, we would. Well, yeah, maybe.
maybe. I don't know. I'm probably
The
gonna leave.
Stokes reunion, I guess.
All right, so check this out. All right, so moving on to number two then. All right, we kind of already did this one, but okay. Is there a stereotype that black men have to be a thug and aggressive to be considered masculine? Drag, you started touching on that one.
I think I saw a lot of this in high school, where the perception that I had was that if the dude wasn't a football player, and I mean like starting football team, and he was just some thug that everybody, or wannabe thug that everybody was intimidated by, then he was nothing. So the guys who love wearing anime shirts with button down anime shirts and shit like that, you know what, they're not, there's not a preference for that. People who have exceptional knowledge and a little bit too on the nose here for me, but that wasn't necessarily valued. Now that may have changed in recent years, from what I understand, but the perception of masculinity was relegated to the stereotypical jock or bad boy kind of
The
trope.
Chad, as they call it now,
The
right?
Chad now, yeah, they call it Chad, yeah.
Zayas, what you thinking?
I was reading the comments. I think it depends on the community, because going into like let's say a black suburb, you probably won't have much of, you got to be a thug to be masculine in that type of community, from my experience. But if you're in in the hood, of course, maybe that is the reality of it.
Yeah,
What
I
about?
think that the environment is a big factor with that too. But yeah, as far as like the stereotypical traits of a thug or whatever, yeah, that shit was pimped on me quite a bit, regardless of what school I went to, because I just wasn't like most other guys. I was quiet. I was to myself, and I wasn't fucking anything that moved. Wanted to, didn't really do it. But yeah, what it was kind of considered that if you acted along these lines, that women would be attracted to you. I didn't really do all of that because in my mind, I felt like changing myself just wasn't worth what I would be asking for. Now, in the end, I did it anyway, but not in the same manner. I had to, as one would say, tailor myself accordingly. So, life is a teacher. You get to look at different people's decisions, and you either rule them as mistakes or as just more like guidelines. It's like, yeah, well, you could, this is what I did the work, but that may not necessarily be the case for you.
Gotcha.
Feel like I went a little bit off the rails there, but
I would say, is there a stereotype that you have to be one? Yeah. If you're
yeah,
talking, if you're talking about an exaggerated commonality, an
the
exaggerated
culture, the music,
coincidence,
yeah,
right?
the entertainment
Um,
industry does that constantly.
yeah, because it sells. That's why.
Yeah,
Anything, and we have a question about the mainstream media that's like the last question is talking about the media. But if you're talking about dude, nothing appears in mainstream media without the purpose of making money.
right.
That's
It's all
something a lot of
commerce.
people forget. It's like if you're seeing something in the mainstream media, it's because it makes money.
Yeah, they're not going to throw bad money, good money, and bad money
I'll be
it's
right
bad
back
for
on that.
business.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, they're not going to throw good money at bad money. It's bad for business.
Right. So, is there a stereotype? Yes, there is. And like I said, because that stereotype sells, and the people who perpetuate that stereotype buy that product.
You
So,
gotta also remember where that stereotype comes from. It's it's based upon the history of like people being integrated into black people being integrated into society, particularly around the civil rights era. That's what that stereotype is based upon. It was instilled as a means of almost like a survival technique. Maybe not as a thug or anything, but like to be like tough or whatever for a man. Like if the man as a household pillar isn't strong enough to fight for what he has, then that generational line is less likely to make it, even if it is in times where like legally black people are not even treated as whole citizens and blah blah blah. And this is of course during the prohibition, the segregation era. So that's where that stereotype comes from. And you know, again, it's just aspects of history and culture that eventually becomes commerce. It becomes more of a parody of what it represents as opposed to it being serious. Yeah. And because people don't have that sense of history, they think that what they're looking at is reality because they don't know any about it.
Damn, that was very well said. Very well said.
That he didn't have nothing to offer the
conversation. I know, right?
Yeah, a whole soliloquy. Look at that.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't really say. I don't know. I don't think much of it because I've had this conversation so many times with people, just maybe not phrased in this manner, and it's like they're like, "Oh, well, you right," but the way they act, it's like we didn't even have the conversation. I just shrugged my shoulders. I used to get mad at it, but I'm like, well, you know, I'm either right or I'm not, and I don't want to be right.
You could acknowledge the truth. You can acknowledge that the truth affects you, but
I've gotten modest over the years, man. I've gotten modest and very carefree. I used to be that person that would watch someone play a video game and fail constantly at it, knowing what the solution is right in front of me, yelling like, "Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that?" Now I can watch that trash fire loop within itself over and over again. I don't know. I've become a little bit more modest.
Well, I think more modest than I thought. When you talk about mentioning, this embodies this, as far as this image, masculinity embodying something, and then someone, okay, well, this particular trait or behavior is toxic or doesn't add anything. People can acknowledge that in a heartbeat, but that doesn't mean that they're introspecting and they identify it within themselves. And my YouTube channel is a perfect example of that. Everyone that I review on my YouTube channel shares something in common. They may not realize, even if I overtly say it, it is something that they will not identify within themselves. The hypocrisy that when they come online, they go on YouTube and they make a video about X group of persons or this person here, that person there, they embody that very criticism to a T.
Right. There's lack of self-awareness.
Oh, absolute lack of self-awareness. Absolutely. And I point that out. And matter of fact, I'll have videos showing them criticizing someone and then doing the behavior. And then they'll get mad at me. Well, you're just talking shit. I am, but I'm also right.
It's based upon the black mirror. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what that's a lot. That's for a lot of stuff. So if we're talking about black masculinity, well, okay, you know what? There is something unique about it. Is it good or bad? Well, you know what? As far as in society, traditionally, it's been bad. It's been attached to the thug negative racial stereotype. So we say, okay, well, there are some good aspects of being aggressive. There are some great aspects of being, what most people would consider manly, taking charge. But there's a gradient, right? When does that
would you say that the good or the bad outweighs the other, though? Because I would say that the bad, like it kind of feels like it naturally does outweigh it.
Well, sure, the consequences of it. There's the consequences of that being the foundations for many stereotypes, would then kind of play into police interactions, would play into marital issues or any type of intimate relationships, right? Because that angry black man then becomes that convenient stereotype to say, well, you know what, there's something just inherently devious or deviant, I should say, within this group of people, something within their genetics that also makes their skin brown or black, also makes them more susceptible to deviant behavior. But that's where it leads to. That's where it ends up being attached to inherently.
it's kind of like the phrase whenever you say black people need to stop committing crimes. Like that phrase without any other context is inherently racist. But whenever you say, well, black people commit the most crime, normally that would be based upon statistics because it's true. But when the conversation ends there, that's when it can be perceived as racist. But the point I was trying to make is, in the entertainment industry, they do this very often. I know that with Mike Tyson, throughout his entire career, he was considered to be a villain. And a lot of that was based upon him being a black man that was beating the shit out of everybody. They tried to do similar things with Joe Louis, and hell, even the McGregor and Mayweather exhibition match, like they even used racism as a selling point to build up the fight before it began. So again, it is all commerce, no matter what the context is.
But that's the thing. But you think about the venue you just mentioned. You think about the venue, boxing, and what if there was a trait that you would want someone to embody within that sport?
It would be aggression.
Yeah. You're right. That would be the key.
You don't want no punk asses fighting in the ring. It's boring.
But see that aggression, that stigma is attached to one of the opponents that just so happens to display a particular phenotype, right? But it's not displayed to the other, even though they're both engaging in the same activity.
Right. Who also paid for it to happen? Let's not forget that part.
Sure.
There's with them, it's a sense of self-awareness with them, but it's a product versus this discussion.
But then you can turn around and go, oh well, you know what? The Negro won. Well, what do you expect? They're naturally this, that, and the other. So
I mean, a lot of people got pissed off at me when I told them that he was going to win that but they were all white and I'm the only black guy saying it. They didn't like hearing me saying it, but it was like. It's a world professional boxer fighting an MMA man with little to no boxing experience by comparison.
Right.
He's going to lose.
That's, outside of aggression, outside of race, like that, that's just the odds were stacked against him, which is whatever. It should have been obvious. So,
but he knew that going into that fight. So it's not, I don't feel. Yeah.
Absolutely. No, I don't feel any remorse. But so my thing is, so kind of get back on the topic. When we say that things have changed, because we've already said that, well, you know what? Aggression is a part of black masculinity. That definitely being physically imposing is inherently attached to that, and that it can have its downside. So now, when we have black masculinity and the incarnation of it now in 2020, you have someone like Dwayne Wade, who is raising a young boy.
Are we gonna bring this up? Okay, go ahead.
Yes, absolutely. Because if you weren't going to bring it up, I'm going to. So if black masculinity has changed, as according to Larry, because Larry has drawn the distinction, well, what better example than the recent events with how Dwayne Wade is deciding to raise his boy in contrast to Boosie Badass and what he is deciding to do for his son. So now here we go. We got
go ahead, because I'm not too familiar with this.
Okay, I'll elaborate. We have two polar opposite styles here in 2020. Okay. There's two. So you have in Dwayne Wade, whose son has identified himself as a female, and will put on it is being treated accordingly. It has a new name and the works, right? Boosie Badass has.
Oh God, go on.
Well, hold on. Well, Boosie Badass has claimed that he will hire a woman to come and molest his young boys to make sure that they are masculine, to make sure that they are men when they grow up. So you tell me.
I mean, I thought the PI shit was creepy, but.
So yeah, so Dwayne Wade, who has a transgender, trans girl, I think, yeah. So male, so trans girl, and then you have Boosie Badass, who's hiring women to molest his son.
So what's the question, Drag?
So the question is, in what direction should black men swing? If I'm raising a young boy Should I go towards Dwayne Wade? Should
Okay.
the scenario call for it, or Boosie
right.
Badass?
All right, here we go.
I don't think either choice is like
Y'all gonna make me do this. Y'all gonna make me do this. All right. So first
Yeah.
and
neither one
foremost,
of these choices.
So
first and foremost, number one, those are two completely different situations. They have nothing to do with each other. Okay, they have nothing to do with each other. Two completely different situations. They're not even remotely related. Okay, that's number one. Number two, I'm not the type that necessarily likes to go around telling people how to raise their kids. But I'm gonna tell them how to raise their kids.
The little Boosie one is like, no.
Okay, here's the first one. So number one, let's get the Boosie thing out of the way. I'm pretty sure you all are familiar, and everybody watching this, I'm pretty sure y'all all are familiar with the phrase, give a man a fish, you feed him for a day, teach a man to fish, you feed him for a lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
Boosie needs to listen to that. In
Yeah.
in terms of trying to, I guess you could say, like, encourage the sexual exploits of his male offspring. Yeah, teach him to fish. Don't fish for him. That's what you do. Teach him to fish. Don't fish for
You're
him.
trying to bring a horse to water, and like, what are you doing?
I'll
In the
say
wrong
this.
way.
Bringing the water to the horse.
I'll
Yeah.
say this.
It's bad either way. It's not going to happen.
Zayas is back.
Zayas is back. What you say? What you say, Zayas?
I'm gonna say this. I know I'm raising my son, to walk in my light. I don't really care about how other people raise their children. My goal is to help my son find self-salvation. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
what Boosie do or what Dwayne Wade do, to be honest with you, I couldn't give two fucks about it.
Yeah, it's got nothing to do with us.
True. That is
It's hard for me to give a shit about any celebrity nowadays. It really
yeah, but hang on a minute though. We're not talking about. Hang on, but we're not. But here's the thing. Okay, I could be like, fuck them celebrities too, right? But the reason why this is a little bit different is because those kids ain't celebrities.
That's true.
Right. And we're talking about
they are the product of the celebrity.
We're talking about two young boys, and we're talking about black men raising them. So it is topical, and I gave those two extreme examples for a reason, because people know them, and because they're two polar opposite examples of how you are going to treat sexuality in the sphere of being a black male, because that does relate to masculinity or femininity or whatever you want to identify that as, right?
Right. But here's the thing though. But they're okay. Shit. See, y'all got me. They're both fuck ups.
Sure.
And to use my example of what I brought up earlier, I'm pretty damn sure, I could be wrong on this. If any Boosie fans are in the building, by all means, educate me in the comments below. Boosie didn't grow up with a daddy, right?
This might be part of the problem.
Okay. No, that is part of the problem.
Yeah.
Number two, I don't know if D Wade did. I bet you he didn't.
I don't know. I have to look into that.
So here's the thing. We talk about two grown men who have no frame of reference for what masculinity is. They just doing what they think is fucking best. But first and foremost, D Wade ain't doing shit in terms of his son. For the record, can we just acknowledge D Wade ain't doing shit in terms of his kid? That's fucking Gabrielle Union. She's the one running that fucking show. Okay.
Can I interject for a second?
Go ahead.
I think he is trying to do what he thinks is right, based off of the perception of others.
Well, even then, you a fuck up.
Yeah, because you shouldn't raise your kid based upon what other people
public opinion. Yeah, even then, you a fuck up.
You're never going to win that argument either. The standard's always going to be raised and changed. It's raising the goalpost fallacy. I hate to bring up some logical fallacies, but it is. It's inherently flawed.
Bringing fallacies. All right. So and the reason, Larry. It is interesting. I sent them the link. Yeah. So I'm gonna push back and say What's
I
wrong?
think it's a good example, though. I think it is a good example.
Well, yeah, no,
Right.
and I brought it up for a reason. So if Dwayne Wade's son, what happened to him? If Dwayne Wade's son has identified himself as now a female, right? Should Dwayne Wade force his son to identify as a male and forcefully instill with him the traits that he identifies as masculine?
Are you asking as a hypothetical that you're posing to the viewer, or you
hypothetically.
actually want me to answer that?
Yeah,
Can
no,
I say something before you answer that, Larry?
Go ahead, please do. Stop me, man. Put a fucking muzzle on me, bro.
no, that's why I asked that question in the private chat.
I saw in the comments, Jakeem said, raise your kids like how LeBron raises his if you need a celeb example. Nigga, we don't know what LeBron doing right now at this very moment. He might be throwing strippers at his kids right now. How can you say some blinded comment like that?
That's not necessarily the worst thing possible. I mean, if he's
you
throwing
can't
strippers
assume-
at him, it's just
you
strippers.
You can't assume that LeBron is raising his kids correctly, quote unquote, just because the media portrays that he's raising his kids correctly. Like,
Yeah.
you can't be looking up to anybody, especially on television, about how to raise your kids. You should seek examples within your own community about how to raise your kids. You shouldn't seek people on television because that is completely fictional, everything on that box. So you should not be trying to set your example behind LeBron's kids or anybody else's kids. But that's just my 2 cents on it.
A lot of people do that, though. I'm not saying it's good. I mean, that may have been why Dragna brought it up as 2 examples. I mean, I'm a little bit in Larry's camp about it. I think that they're kind of the analogy is just, it's not good for the sake of the question, but then at the same time,
What analogy?
I missed a little bit of what was said.
Shout out to Jakeem, that's my brother.
The 2 celebrities that he used as an example, and I think he used them as an example because they're celebrities that maybe not have the highest recognition of notoriety now or overall, but a lot of people do look to these people as, I'm not going to say guidance counselors, but it affects how they live their lives and make decisions to some degree, especially in the Black community.
Well, that's sad. That's fucking sad.
It is sad. It is sad, but it's
That's
a
sad.
reality.
That's sad. But okay, so now shit. Do I have to say my piece on this? All right.
Yeah.
So here's my whole piece on that, because what were we what was I fixing to respond to before Zayas got triggered by the by the comments?
Triggered.
Oh, well,
I missed him getting triggered. Damn.
Zayas, for the record, don't get triggered by the comments, bro.
No, it's all good.
Yeah, welcome to the internet.
I'm on one right now, so I'm animated. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Don't get triggered by comments.
Actually,
But,
like the question I had was,
Jakeem, don't take that personal, my brother. It's all love.
if you were Dwayne Wade and your child, your
Oh
male
yes.
child
This is what it was. This is what it was.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's my question. Number one, how old is Dwayne Wade's son?
probably 9, 10.
9 or 10?
wait,
say
what?
9 or
He's not
10?
even a teenager?
I think 9. I don't have the kid's exact age. I think he's like 9 or 10 years old.
Okay, so here's the thing. So you asked me personally, how would I treat that situation?
Yeah.
When he start paying bills, he can choose his sexual identity.
That's how I would do it. Yeah.
I've got
That's
a
it.
question
Pretty
for everyone in the room.
That's-
Well, I already know drag.
Well, no, real quick. Hang on, real quick. Hold that thought. Listen to what I'm saying. Now that might sound fucked up. Let me tell you something. Because I think the boy is 9 years old, which means legally speaking, he isn't even considered a juvenile. Because legally, you aren't even considered. Somebody said he's 12. Okay, he's 12. All right, so he's been a juvenile all of 2 fucking years, right? Has he even had his first wet dream? Here's my point. 12 years old is way too fucking young for you, dude. A 12-year-old does not have. I'm gonna say this because nobody wants to talk about this. Let's be real about this. 12-year-olds are fucking dumb. They're fucking dumb, and they're even dumber when they become teenagers. If I'm full of shit, why is it? So you telling me that at 12 years old, a child knows enough about themselves to choose their own gender, but they don't know enough to vote? They
But
don't
diversity is
have.
our
They don't.
strength.
Hang on. They don't have enough. They don't have enough good decision making skills to drive.
Wherewithal.
What about to drink?
Yeah.
Hell, you can't even smoke unless you're 21 now. So let me get this straight. So a 12-year-old knows enough about themselves, right? Because they only been on the fucking planet 12 years. Nigga, you ain't lived. You don't know anything. But you know enough.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know enough to vote. We don't trust your decision making to allow you to vote. We don't trust your decision making to allow you to drive. We don't trust your decision making to allow you to take any type of drug, whether that's smoking or whether that's alcohol. We don't trust you. Dude, notice, even fucking car insurance, like, dude, your car insurance rate don't even drop until you're 20, until you make 26. So even at that age, because you are
Yeah.
so much of a risk on the road at a young age. So all of those things, we don't trust you enough to be able to make a good decision in all of those categories, but we trust you enough to make a smart decision about your own gender.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. Yeah. And I say that with love. That's bullshit. That's bullshit.
It's like a kid riding a bicycle on training wheels, and then you give them a house to pay mortgage on. It just doesn't make any sense.
That's bullshit. So if it was my kid, guess what? When you turn 18 and you out of my house, you can be whatever the hell you want to be. You can be what you want to be. You can be who you want to be. But if you living under my house, last time I checked, whatever organ you were born with is the one I'm gonna treat you with. If your name is what is the boy's name? What is the boy's name?
I have no idea.
Okay. But yeah, that's your name. That's your name. And I will treat you accordingly. Now, if you decide afterwards you want to do whatever you want, guess what? You're 18. You're a fucking adult. You go do what you want. But so long as you under this house, you gonna roll by these rules. Or because guess what? There is no gun to your head. I'm not holding a gun to your head telling you, oh, you better listen to my motherfucking rules. No. If you don't like the rules, there's the door. Walk. Take your freedom papers and walk.
Get emancipated.
And there won't be no conversation about it. Comply or goodbye.
I'm stealing that, Larry. I just want you to know that I'm stealing that.
That's not mine, dude. That's Andrew Tate. That's not mine.
I'm still taking it.
$5 super chat from Trent. He says, "Thank you, Larry. I support LGBT people, but allowing kids to transition, in my opinion, is child abuse. It is child abuse.
It is
a form of child abuse.
Because then it's no longer about the kid. There's a certain point where it's no longer about the kid and their decisions. It's more about agenda pushing and what the parent wants or whoever's promoting that idea. Because sexuality is not something that's ever fully understood before the age of at least 16 or 18, and even still, like, no.
Yeah, dude, exactly. So, dude, you have legions, millions of fucking young people still trying to figure that shit out for themselves while they're in fucking college. A 12-year-old knows better than them? Dude, I didn't know who the fuck I was at 12.
Me neither. I didn't know who I was at 18, but I mean, that's a whole nother discussion.
Exactly. Well, I had a better idea of who I was at 18. Actually, I'll tell you what's funny. I had a better idea of who I was at 18 than who I was 2 years ago. But that was because of all the bullshit and indoctrination I was exposed to when I was at college and all that type of shit.
Yeah, well, you helped me in that regard. Forget about a lot of that shit.
Next question.
Go ahead.
We spending too much time on D Wade's son.
Mm-hmm.
I don't give a fuck about them people.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
You want to move on?
we were talking about it because Drag was going somewhere with it. I didn't want to talk about it. He was going somewhere with it.
I appreciate the discussion, but I'm like, man, if they tripping on D Wade,
I'm really hearing about it. I'm like, okay.
If they tripping on D Wade, wait till they see what's going on in the world with some of this other shit that's going on.
Oh yeah, it's much worse.
So I'm
It's
like,
much, much worse.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to focus on what's in my.
They're getting kids to transition and shit. I mean,
I think
there's people that do that.
I'm gonna say this. I think we wouldn't be having this discussion if it wasn't so the idea is just so accepted amongst everybody. I don't think this is like I don't know. I can't say. Do you think it's a natural inclination to do that?
No,
No, because it's not happening. That's not the society we live in. It's not a natural thing. It may be.
You talk about transitioning. Do I think transitioning is a natural thing?
Yeah. Do you think a person would not like if that idea wasn't in their head? Do you think they would naturally try to do that?
Well, okay. Well, here's the thing. Okay, first off, no, and second off, so yeah, first off, no. That's a hard no. And second, keep this in mind too, because what you just said brings up a very good point. Because I had this argument with somebody a couple of days ago, and we got into the whole big old thing because well, fuck it, whatever. I'm not going to talk about that conversation, but we got into this huge because I'm always the asshole in those conversations with that person, and I'm like, fuck it, I'll be the asshole. All right,
Yeah.
you be this fucking apologetic. Yeah, fuck that. Anyway, because we got into the whole debate about people picking gender identity and gay and all that type of stuff, and I'm like, okay, 2020, we can map the human genome, but we still haven't found a gay gene. Explain that shit to me, but okay, it's natural, right? But no, I don't think it is natural. And I'm gonna tell you something else. You said something very, very poignant. If that thought wasn't already in your head, Zayas, you know better than fuck you do. You know better than anything. There is no such thing as an independent thought. There is no such thing as a unique thought. Every thought that you have ever had in your entire life came from somewhere.
It's derivative by nature. Yeah.
It came from somewhere. You have never thought anything that has never existed before. And if you think that you're such a fucking unique snowflake that no one else has ever had this idea, your hubris is out of this fucking world.
So,
But
let me push back.
So somebody planted that thought in them. I'm gonna tell you what I think it is. Because have you noticed you don't never hear about no little girls transitioning into boys?
Yeah,
Have you noticed that?
I've heard of some, but not as many.
We just talked about what the media says is not reality. We already talked about that, so we can't then rely on the media to give us an informed opinion about society. We can't play both sides of that card.
Not anymore, no.
Because I actually know several women who have transitioned to men. I know quite a few.
Actually, no. You can't use the media for that purpose. You can use people's reaction to it for that purpose.
How so?
How do people respond from what they're being told?
Right. How do you gauge that until you post it already?
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's because I'm trying to figure out what your response is to using the media as like the litmus test for what's actually happening as far as
no, that's not what I said.
Okay, because I was confused as to what you responded to.
No. What I was saying was how people respond to it. You see what I'm saying?
I'm not sure. Well, how is people responding to transitions? Like, how is that relevant?
Okay, I'll give you an example. I didn't want to bring her up because I don't. Look, shit, I just said a her. Nobody had to know it was a her. Okay, no. This is what I'm saying. Like I'm not talking about. Okay, how about this? I know someone who would probably raise a transition kid. You want to know why? Because of how they responded to the D Wade news. How they responded to that news lets me know something about them. Yeah. And my conversations that I've had with them lets me know. I'm like, okay, so
they might be
there probably will be a transition kid somewhere down your lineage because you condone that and you encourage it. Unless, of course, you decide to just change your fucking mind, which is possible. Highly unlikely, knowing the person I'm talking about, but it's possible.
So my thing is, I'm iffy on early prepubescent hormone therapy for kids for various reasons. I am in favor for people identifying however the hell they want to. That doesn't hurt anybody. Whether my son identifies as a dragon, that doesn't actually hurt him. He does what he needs to do. But as far as what's natural and what's not, because you mentioned earlier fallacies. you should know that that's a fallacy. That is
That it has to
actual
be
fallacy.
that it has to be natural in
Something-
order to be validated.
Yes,
Appeal to
that is-
authority.
That's a naturalist. No, it's a naturalistic fallacy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So if we're going to bring fallacies in here, we can't use that type of argument to disqualify a position that is in opposition. So, but the truth is, actually, homosexuality is natural. It's not completely genetic. That's the actual issue there. We can't figure out what percentage is nature versus nurture, but it is very natural. But as far as
happens in animals as well, so yeah.
oh yeah, there's tons. There's a whole book.
Yeah, but don't bring that up. Don't bring that up.
But,
And I'm
but
gonna
yeah,
tell,
I
hang
don't
on.
want to. I
Don't
wanted
bring
to.
that up. Don't bring that up, and I'm gonna tell you why. And I'm gonna tell you why. Don't bring that up, because this argument that I had with that other person the other day, they brought that shit up. Right? It was like, oh, well, you see it in the animal kingdom all the time. I said, okay, but guess what? As soon as I start saying some shit that you also see in the animal kingdom, like infanticide, right?
Infanticide.
The death of offspring.
Yeah, they'll kill the
When you kill an offspring.
Oh
that's
yeah.
natural. Yeah, no.
Or how about this? Hyperstophilia. When I start bringing those things up that are natural in the animal kingdom, and that correlates with humans too, all of a sudden you have an issue with it. So just because it happens in the natural kingdom, don't bring that shit with, because I don't like to think in binaries, and I don't like to speak in binaries. But you telling me it applies to one, but it doesn't apply to the other?
Yeah, because
despite the fact that we have proof in
argument.
humans of the others.
You're making a moral argument. That's the difference. Saying that something's natural isn't.
I'm not making a moral argument. I'm making an argument in favor. No, I'm making an argument about arguments. If you're going to bring the animal kingdom into the argument, right? That means you cool with talking about other aspects that also apply in the animal kingdom too, right?
Sure. That
Okay.
opens the door. Absolutely. But
Okay.
but I see what you're saying, right? If we're going to say, let's be logical as possible and let's minimize any and all fallacies, right? Then I can't then use an argument, a naturalistic argument myself. I can make a moral proclamation on whether or not infanticide is moral or not. It is natural. I can't argue that. That's where the line is. But I can make a moral declaration. I think therein lies the difference.
Okay.
Plus, you're talking about a moral argument with animals. Like, I don't think that really applies.
Yeah, no, I don't think that there's no morality amongst animals. Well, I know some people might disagree with me who are ethologists, but that's my position I maintain.
Yeah, no, there's no morality with because animals just do. It's
how did we get on the animal kingdom?
We're talking a naturalistic fallacy. Yeah, that's all it was. Yeah, but no,
that's how we got there.
There are actual ethologists that will disagree about birds and altruism, and it's a whole conversation. So I'm just warning you right now.
Yeah.
Well,
All right.
Let me ask a question.
Go ahead.
I already know Drag's answer, but what are your spiritual beliefs?
Oh boy.
Or religious beliefs?
Time out.
Oh boy.
Does that matter according to this conversation?
We're way off the rails.
I'm going to connect it.
Oh,
Wait a minute. Time out. Zayas, you already know everyone's spiritual beliefs in the fucking in the broadcast.
But the audience
not entirely. I just know for a fact Drag, because of course.
But me and you talked about this shit a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, and I forgot.
And I live under a rock. So yeah. You forgot what's okay. Wow. Is he sober, Larry? Do you remember? At least he's honest. I don't know.
Well,
I'll be dipped in shit and rolled in bread.
Let me say this. Let me just bring it like this. Let me connect myself. Let me just.
The nerve of you.
Let me add myself. Let me just use me as an example. I'm a so-called spiritual person. My interpretation of quote-unquote God might be a little bit different than the next person. I believe that basically we're all variations of a single consciousness that's expressing itself through endless possibilities. So I say within the realm of possibility, in our reality, it happened. So I don't think we can even really pay much mind to it that it did happen, because either it happened or it didn't. But I don't think that connects to anybody on the moral level, whether they do it or not. I think since it exists, then we should just let it exist and just leave it alone.
All right then. So on that note,
You already know what I think, so move on.
okay. So let's Larry getting what? You mean pissed?
I think you're pissed. Yeah, because perturbed. I think perturbed.
Perturbed. A little perturbed. A little perturbed. All right. So number 3 on this list. Number 3. Is it considered less masculine in the Black community to go see a therapist and talk about how they feel? Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Absolutely. That's why I have several videos on my channel openly talking about the fact that I've sought mental help several times. And when I say it like that, there's still, and I don't know how many guys are willing to admit it. When I say that I've sought mental help a few times, there's a stigma, like there's a twinge that you feel. And I can't even tell you why I still feel that, even though I know that it was for my own good. And it was nothing crazy. I wasn't going to try to kill myself. It was, I could not focus. I could not get thoughts out of my head that were fucking me up with, doing this thing like studying and being productive. Right. So absolutely. That's seen as a bitch move.
Yeah. Now, you know what's funny about that though? Since earlier we were talking about conventionally masculine, right? Why is it considered that? Why? Because conventionally masculine men, they don't do that. Historically speaking, they don't. So have you found it funny? Notice how you find it funny. It's like people, and I'm fuck it. I'll talk about black people. Black people. White folks and other folks do this shit too, but we talk about black people, so let's keep it black people. But have you found it funny how black people, they will, quote unquote, throw shit in your direction, talking about, quote unquote, toxic masculinity when you're being conventionally masculine, but they still want you to uphold aspects of conventional masculinity, and not seeking mental help is one of those aspects.
So I'm thinking you got a specific example from somebody, because I can say that there are people that I know, especially at least on social media, who traditional aspects of masculinity are now considered toxic. Absolutely. But
most of them are. Most, if not all of them, are considered toxic.
Not all, but the issue in some cases is that some of the people who promote this idea and share it, memes and all that kind of stuff, also want men in their life to take a masculine role and provide for them, which it's interesting given that if you don't support the gender role, you don't support the toxicity that comes along with it, then why do you want to reap the benefits of it?
Because they're only cool with conventional masculinity so long as it benefits them. The second it fails to benefit them, then they have a fucking issue. I've had that conversation with many a female.
It's okay when I do it, basically.
Yeah, that. By the way, my depiction of that is very specific. This is only a handful of people that I can even think of that have actually shown.
Drake, is that your wife?
Addiction. Yes, that is.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Tasha.
Yeah, there's only a handful of people, because there are other women, many other women who completely abhor traditional, toxic masculinity, but they are also incredibly independent, incredibly educated, and they are able to, live that life. So, live by the sword, die by the sword. Absolutely.
They do die by the sword. Because they wake up and they're 35, unmarried, childless. Dude, I got an article, dude. I was just reading this article talking about Candace Owens was sharing this story about one of her friends who was like 55 years old, and she was like, what? Dude, I gotta pull it up. What did it say? It said, feminism is a scam. That's what the lady said. That's what Candace said the lady told her. And she said she was scammed for 55 years. And then she goes into detail talking about like all the stuff, right? And so, according to the article, this was a conversation that Candace Owens had with that friend, and then Candace Owens turned around and shared it in part of a speech to this organization that she was speaking at.
Yeah, I'm very skeptical if this woman herself isn't speaking,
Yeah,
because it's
because it's
Candace
Candace
Owens.
Owens.
And two, I would need to see the context behind that, because if she's been a feminist for 55 years, then she's seen about three handovers and changes in kind of the Overton window, as it were, for our society.
Right,
And
feminism has gone through
Oh,
many changes.
they mentioned that in the article, but hang on, but wait a minute though. But does that really matter though?
it does. If you're talking about women who started out in the mid 1900s trying to get the right to vote, and then you're comparing them to women now who are on Tumblr saying that they got PTSD, those are two completely remotely separate things.
No, that's not what I'm talking
Yeah,
about. That's not what I'm talking about. That's not what I'm talking about.
But
What I'm talking. That's not what I'm talking about.
55 years. So I'm trying so what does that mean?
That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is whether or not that's true. Does it really matter? Because
Yeah, I think it does.
I think the important thing is the fact that Candace Owens is even saying it in the first place. That's
I
what
mean,
I'm getting at.
I'm
The
not.
fact that she's
I don't hold her
relating
in high
that
regard.
information.
I don't hold her in that high regard. I'm incredibly skeptical of this
Yeah.
supposed friend in the statement. There's too
I'm
many.
just,
Yeah, Candace Owens
I'm just talking. Okay, whatever. I'm just talking about the fact that she even said it in the first place.
What question are we on?
The third one. So the third one is talking about the whole mental health piece, right? And so, like I say, yeah, like people in the black community do consider it less masculine if you have to seek mental help. Okay,
Can I say
yes,
something?
go ahead.
That's like the so-called African American community, because if you go to like Rwanda, Mauritania, Nigeria, you seek the advice of the elders. You know, you don't necessarily have a therapist, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? So I think it being any less quote unquote masculine is just a product of the brainwashed minds of African Americans.
Yeah, I agree.
That's
I
that's
agree.
society for you. Yeah.
I
Culture.
agree. I'll tell you straight up. Especially to no longer human dude. If you're watching, if in fact you threw that message in there because you ran into that yourself, dude, I'm gonna tell you this right now. Someone says, it's less masculine that you're seeking mental help. Mental help. Fuck them.
Right.
Because the
Last
only
I
person
checked, you got one life to live in this world. Last I checked, you don't get no repeats because I don't believe in reincarnation.
I
So
do.
you don't get repeats. Okay, you don't get to press that Super Nintendo reset button, and guess what? Don't nobody else live your life for you but you.
I'm
So
gonna-
guess what? Fuck them, dude. Let me tell you something. Cause I got into this shit big last year, right? Because I had somebody explain it to me. Cause for years, right? Like for years, like my dad would tell me, like, when you get the chance, you should seek a mental professional. And I would always ask, I'm like, why the fuck do I need to do that? This is that and the other. I heard someone else explain it in a way that I think was better than the way my dad could explain it. But essentially, it's like this. I heard someone say that every African American young man in this day and age should see a mental specialist at least once. And the reason for it is because you probably have trauma you don't even know fucking exist.
That's fair.
Or it takes the proof.
That's actually very close to what a counselor told me back when I was in the service. And he ended up saying, like, there's stuff that we do in a marriage or as a couple, just at anybody, in a couple, and their defense mechanism, their coping mechanisms that you got from growing up with your family, that at some point in time, you're just repeating their dysfunction and it seems normal. And now that you're with somebody else who's not a part of that dysfunction, now you got two dysfunctional people displaying dysfunctional traits and trying to figure out what's going on. And so you need somebody to step back and explain it so that you stop doing it. And it makes sense, because how would you know that, it's just, it's natural to you.
You know what we need? You know what we need in the black community?
I'm listening.
We need some ayahuasca.
I don't know what that is.
Some DMT.
What?
I don't know what that is.
No, I think we got drugs.
That's
I think
what
we got.
we need to some of that shit, and we need to connect back with nature. We need to go outside. We need to put the technology down, and we need to harmonize with each other because we all
a pipe dream, basically. But yeah, I agree. I think that a big EMP wave would be great for this planet.
I mean, dude, y'all could do that shit anytime you fucking want to. How about y'all niggas get together and go build a house?
Be careful saying that.
What?
That might happen.
That everybody go get outside and go build a house?
No, with Jamal.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Oh, the EMP.
Oh, good.
How about
kind of
all of that shit y'all talking about? Getting outside, going into nature, harmonizing. Go build a fucking house.
Going out there, fuck that.
Go build a fucking house.
Not with this pandemic.
I'm not building
Stay my black ass indoors.
Francisco, bro, what is you doing? What is you know your money's not good here, man. I will gladly accept it, but you know it's not good here. What is you doing, man?
Pretty nice of them now.
I'm not building houses, but I'm planting vegetables and fruits.
Yeah,
you're still achieving the same objective. You're outside, you're dealing with nature, you're doing something with your hands, you're cultivating something, you're building creating something. You're achieving the same thing. I tell you what though. I tell you what though. I don't know how hard work it is. Well, no. Did you de-weed your plot? Did you have to de-weed it?
Oh,
I was going out there, but I had like a little a Home Depot one. I needed a motorized one, and I couldn't find nobody with one, and I didn't have a truck to go get one from Home Depot. So I have a flower bed, but I'm working on that. I'm working on hiring somebody to
nigga, you get out there and go harmonize with that soil and go pull up the motherfucking weeds.
That's right. Get your sunlight.
Yes.
Get you some good gloves.
I'm gonna do it on a week when you come down. How about that?
All right, fine. Fine.
Well,
Fuck it, I'll do it with you. I ain't no bitch. I'll do it with you.
Okay, I'm gonna hold you to that.
Man, we having like a tribunal meeting sometime in the future, or?
I mean, I've been
dude, Francisco, what you doing, man?
I'm letting y'all know right now. I just bought $298 worth of meat. There's a Good Rancher food truck, a meat truck that comes around. When those local ranches that got whole cows that they cut up, and I got a grill. So if y'all want to come through, I'll cook y'all some stuff, and we can watch some Tiger King.
All right. Well, I mean, Larry, you're about halfway there with those two last donations, but
Francisco, man, you tripping me out. Francisco, since you watching, your movie review is Monday, dude. This upcoming Monday is your review, man. I got you.
Oh, I still got it. Dude, you just reminded me. People keep asking me to do these damn hentai reviews. I made a joke about it one day and said I was going to do it, and now everybody's keep asking me for it. So I got to. Oh my god.
Hey, if it's one I've seen before.
Back to topic. So,
anyway. But hold on. Let me bring this up. So we said that it's traditional, right? Traditionally, getting mental health is not something that's really looked at positively, right? We've already said that. So that's something that we're changing the paradigm on that in 2020. Can we agree?
Yeah.
Yes, there's a paradigm shift.
So really,
if we're because traditionally that's looked down upon, like getting mental health. But we know that the effect of that is positive. You can only get something out of that, something positive out of that. But if we're changing the paradigm on that, then that opens the door for other things to change, right? So my question is, what stays and what goes?
About what we're gonna change?
Yes.
I mean, I have a theory. I ain't gonna say it on camera.
I have a theory as well. I think that if it's more acceptable for a man,
Francisco, what the fuck?
I like your viewers.
Now you're almost halfway there. Now you're over halfway there.
Oh, dude, what are you doing to me, bro?
Cash App / Dragnot.
Yeah,
What
man.
are you doing?
Cash App.
I kind of want to stop you and be like, dude, just start hitting up my fucking Cash App because YouTube keeps 30% of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
My Cash App is in the description box, man.
If y'all don't know this, YouTube takes out a good chunk of
Yeah,
that.
they take like 30%.
You take out 30%.
Mm-hmm. This is
Dollar
why.
sign bias.
But no, thank y'all for this. So if y'all want more conversations like this, then y'all need to hit Larry up and let him know. And he hits us up a week ahead of time. And so we put some time aside to do this, And so and it's not going to be, you see that we're giving Larry a headache. We're not going to sit there and just let him get away with murder. But,
Larry, check out my podcast, man.
Okay.
I think my homie, I do it with you, would enjoy having him on the show and discuss these type of things too.
Oh, okay.
I'm
I think that
curious what people in the chat say. Like, what do you think we should stay and should go from what you think black masculinity is, right? Whatever you think it is, what stays and what goes. We already know that what can go is this aversion towards mental health therapy.
you're right. That can go.
Looking up to celebrities can go. Throw that shit out the window.
Yeah, there's a lot more
They
things that can go.
ain't going nowhere though. We know
There's a lot of things. That's not really a masculine thing though. That's a human thing.
No, actually, I would argue it's more feminine than it is masculine.
Really? Male role models? I don't.
No. I didn't say male role models. I said, this sort of like
like the
worshiping of celebrities.
Iconoclasm is it's called, I believe.
Case in point, we got a cat right here on this live stream. Don't give a fuck about celebrities.
Not one fuck.
Not one bit.
Fuck them.
I'm usually laughing at celebrities. That's the only thing
I am not impressed by nothing none of these people do, because I know that anything any of them do is within everybody. If they want to do that shit and if they put some effort into that shit and stop being some motherfucking victim mentality having ass niggas.
Yeah. We got to sell that album.
We can have an army of motherfucking Neil deGrasse Tysons on the corner.
I'm gonna fight you on that one.
I wouldn't want to be on the corner, but yeah.
I would love to say yeah. I would love to agree with you, but if okay, here we go. Here's something that can come in. How about here's something that can go, and people gonna fight me on this. Religion can go. Religion can go. Instead, we replace
is that masculinity though?
With a set of beliefs that revolve. God damn, he just donated $100. Okay, so we can replace it.
He's about to surpass you.
A system of beliefs that encourage education.
It's like a quarter of the stimulus check.
And I'm talking about encouraging strong.
Jamal, just the second time he's done this shit, man. Oh man!
The second time he's done. What you mean, like just making it rain when you're?
The second time this month. Oh my god!
Live stream. But
you might want to get that Cash App ready so you can get 100% of the shit.
Dude, the Cash App's in the comments, man. Cash App's is in the comments, man.
If you replace the fervent belief system with a strong understanding of mathematics, do you know there's a study out there that shows the top earners in the U.S. and the background in mathematics? There's a strong correlation between people who have strong mathematics skills and income. So we get to fix income equality to some degree, and we get to address certain negative racial stereotypes at the same time, and then also address people who are pastors, preachers, grifting their parishioners because you know what, they want to go to heaven, they're scared.
Grubbing for money, as far Convict would say.
I'm about to go. Let me go there.
Uh-oh.
I feel you.
It sound like okay. I'm gonna go get some alcohol now. Well, guess what? We passed the hour mark, and even if I do get demonetized, Francisco's like, fuck that. So we good.
Thank you.
And this is my opinion, people. So I'm just throwing that out there. But I think people have a distorted view of like religion and the holy text. Even the people that follow religion have a distorted view of what they're following. They don't even realize what they're following or what they're reading, and they just got an idea of it from somebody that told them in the church.
Well, yeah, but that's every religion.
So as I get older and I start to understand this for myself, I realize that it's not necessarily religion that's the problem. It's just the people that twist it and distort it
It's the
far from
puppeteers.
what it is and what it was. You know
So-
what
Yeah,
I'm
it's
saying?
Okay,
Yes, the
so here,
puppeteers.
let me push back. Every single person who thinks that they have read the holy text correctly has said the same thing about another person. There's 4 or 5 different hermeneutic techniques to read the Bible, and even then, there are a multitude of biblical concordances that people use to interpret that. So, I mean, that's a moving target as far as what's the correct interpretation. So there's no one size fits all for that, right? Everybody vying for that true understanding that they think that they have and nobody else has.
And that's why I say I feel you, because on the other end of that coin, I feel that we need to place emphasis on discovering ourselves within ourselves and not within these other texts. These are just tools. That's, in my opinion, tools that's designed to help you find your higher self. I don't think that a following needs to be made, around it, but I do think people need guidance in, some areas.
I personally think that as we were saying earlier, like if it's considered to be more common for masculinity, for you to be able to see a therapist, if that's considered to be more acceptable in that regard, it's pretty safe to say that men will be for the next generation a little bit more emotional. Now, whether or not that means the sexual preference comes into play, well, I mean, that remains to be foreseen. There's no way to really know for certain. We might get more creative minds because for me, that's probably a large reason why art in general, as far as mainstream is concerned, is just so uninteresting, because we have more people acting based upon what they've seen in the past, as opposed to actually be inspired by something to actually create something that is deep within their oneself. And it starts with understanding yourself, which I think that's what therapy is. That's what it's good for. It's not just about the trauma. It's about learning about yourself in a way that you may not be able to by yourself.
So, and on that note, if that's kind of how you feel about therapy, right? Then
Right.
if we incorporate and internalize that as a method to understand our inner self or oneself or whatever, then why do we need to defer to what Zeiss is talking about on the spiritual aspect, right? So is there a difference there, or are they tackling the same thing?
I mean, for me, like, if religion helps and doesn't hurt anybody, then, like, you and I probably have similar beliefs. I'm just more hospitable to the idea of people maintaining their religion. But yeah, it would probably be good for it to let it go. But the reason why I was kind of like, well, what is this? What does the religion aspect of letting go of in society have to do with masculinity, which was the initial talking point? That's what I was mainly a little indifferent about taking a side on.
Well, so if we're talking about like traditional Judeo-Christian beliefs,
Right.
That's strict gender roles, right? That's why I want to connect and bring that back
Oh,
together.
okay.
Is that if
Now
we're
it makes
talking
more
about that, right? There isn't, to my knowledge, a strong emphasis on good mental health other than just adhering to biblical texts. Like it's pretty much cut and dry, right? And so
Right.
that's why you'll
Talk
see
to God.
religious people defer just to their religious beliefs and not to actual therapy, because they think that one will replace the other, or one's more effective than the other, which is true, but it's not the one that they think. So if we're tackling the masculinity issue, then I would say the staunch, the kind of the unwavering version of masculinity is intimately tied to how prolific Judeo-Christianity is, at least in this nation.
It makes a bit more sense than when you put it that way. Because I didn't really think so much about the gender roles that's presented within religion in itself. But yeah, it actually kind of is apparent, especially how women are treated. Because as you already know, Dragonot, as God is a very staunch defender of female rights, right?
Yeah.
I think
One of the greatest feminists ever.
What did I walk into?
as far
Where am I at?
as Christianity goes, because I'm like I said, I'm more spiritual. I'm not a Christian person or any religion. I do like reading the text though, but
Yeah,
in
it's a fun
my
little comic book read.
What did I walk into? See, I knew once these mofos got on here, I was like, y'all gonna make this about Jesus, ain't you? Because it always ends up coming down about Jesus.
Jesus,
Well, we haven't got
most
to
people
that point
don't.
yet.
Most people don't know what the fuck they talking about when they discussing the Bible. I'm learning shit now about the Bible in my 30s that I have never heard in any motherfucking black church or white church for that matter. That I'm hearing now.
Well, they can't make money that way. They can't make money that way. So I mean,
with evidence, with and shit, and I just can't have the discussion with. I can't discuss the Bible with Christian people. That's crazy.
I mean, that's not everybody, but that's
you can't discuss it with anybody because no one wants to be realistic.
Well, I can't generalize like that.
No.
I'll say
See,
with people that follow that, in my experience and around the people I grew up, there are some religious people I can have conversations about aliens and shit. But growing up, no, not at all.
What's funny about that is what I just said. I'm like, nigga, that's me trying to talk to DC comic fans. It's like I can't even talk DC to you motherfuckers.
Yeah, no.
Y'all are some other shit.
A lot of topics you can't talk to people about, but now
I'm
just
like, y'all are some other shit, man. I walk in the building and be like, man, them CW movies fucking suck, or the DCEU fucking sucks, and them motherfuckers lose their mind, and I'm just like, what you talking about, man? All right.
Or the Star Wars movies.
Oh, don't.
Yeah, let's not go
You don't
there.
have strength. I don't have the strength. I don't have the strength.
Which is why I'm not gonna watch the movies.
We can't. We gotta move on. We gotta move
Number
on.
4 or 5.
We gotta move on. Yeah, we gotta move on.
Oh man.
Oh, this one's easy. Is number 4? Is there less masculinity? Is there less masculinity today than there were in previous generations? Yes.
So we're talking about traditional masculinity. Absolutely, right. That's why they have the phrase coined toxic masculinity. The identification of certain traits of traditional masculinity as not being, I guess, conducive for society in 2020. So yeah, we're going to see, because of that stigma, less of those particular traits.
Yep.
Am I the only one that's tired of that phrase though?
I can't answer that because I don't
toxic masculinity.
No, I'm tired of it too. It's bullshit. It's bullshit.
It doesn't even mean anything to me at this point.
So I get what people are trying to get at. So I was here. Let me give you an example. We identified that the aversion towards mental health doesn't help anybody. We all agreed on that, right? So that is a toxic behavior, right? The aversion towards mental health.
But that's not distinctly masculine though, because that question said mental health in the black community. That's something that is definitely prevalent in the black community. It isn't necessarily something that's uniquely masculine, because there are black women who be like, why the fuck are you going to a mental? Why are you going to go see a specialist? What's wrong with you? What, you ain't got your shit together? Maybe I should be talking to Ricky down the street. See, I knew I shouldn't have fucked with your ass. Okay. Y'all know, y'all done heard it. Y'all done heard it. And I ain't got to tell
Get
y'all.
the fuck away from them. Holy shit. Oh man.
Yeah, that's
this is why I like Asian girls. You know, I don't have to deal with this shit.
Well, bully for you, nigga.
I think you're gonna have to deal with problems with any human.
Yeah, one way or the other. because we're all crazy and don't know shit.
Right. We are in the darkness.
No, we're not in the darkness. This is the day-to-day thing.
Hang on. Let me get back on track right here, because Drag, you were going somewhere.
So
You were
I would
driving.
say, yeah. So if we're identifying certain things, right? I will say that there are certain traits that are masculine in the military that do not translate well in civilian world, and so that's what I call toxic masculinity. Like we openly fat shame one another in the military, and that's not something that's too cool out in the civilian world. So that to me is something, because I embrace it. That's fine. If that's what you want to label it, I've no problem doing that. But that's going to be couched in a very specific context, right? Not just any and every permutation of masculinity is itself inherently toxic. That I absolutely disagree with.
Okay, AJ, I would take that a step further, because let me tell you something, dude. Brothers don't give a fuck about fat shaming each other. So when we're talking, this is just me speaking now. When we're talking about, what is considered toxic masculinity, well, no, that shit isn't what's not acceptable by society. It's acceptable. It's what's not acceptable by a gynocentric social order. That's more specific. Now, yes, is that most of society in Western democracies? It is. But because I promise you, brothers ain't got no fucking problem fat shaming each other. No man thought of the term fat shaming. No man thought of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That never
Thank
fucking
you.
existed.
That doesn't sound like anything a man would say.
No man ever thought of the term body positivity. No man ever thought about that.
Or toxic masculinity.
None.
These are all feminist talking points.
So, well, fuck, all of you motherfuckers in the just look at that. I called you all motherfuckers, and none of you are offended, right?
I mean, I've done it once with one girl, but
oh yeah, no, I'm good.
Right? Okay. How about this? Dude, how many times we get together? You see, we get together to socialize or whatever. What's one of the first things we start doing? We start breaking each other's balls. Start cutting, ribbing. That's what we used to for all of
men.
the newbies. Ribbing, cutting. Okay, y'all might know it as teasing or bullying. Okay,
you make fun of that.
Hazing.
You laugh at that, but there's a grown man in New Jersey who's trying to sue me because I'm cyberbullying him. You think I'm lying, Larry? You think
How you get it Drag? How you get it up?
You think I'm making it up, Larry?
no, I don't think you're making it up.
We
but
live in a
my
society.
point. You're proving my point, Aiden.
This man is 45 years old.
Yes. What I'm talking about has been going on for the last 60 years.
Yeah.
It's a slow feminization of society. Yes, for 60 years it's been going on.
I mean, I use a different
Which is
word.
why I
but
said.
yeah.
Which is why I said earlier. Which is why I said earlier when I was giving examples of what is quote unquote masculinity, and I went all the way back. I said, if you have a grandfather, I said, because chances are, because I have a lot of young viewers, so chances are your father was born into this bullshit. But if it might be possible you have a grandfather who grew up before this bullshit, right? Okay, do what he did because he was masculine.
I'm almost finished, son. Look at me.
Yeah, can't do everything my grandpa did. He had 2 families. I mean, that was masculine. That was masculine.
It was masculine. I think it still is masculine.
Yeah.
Think about this. Since we brought up the animal kingdom earlier, right? Okay, think about this. Look at a lion pride. There's only one male there. How many lionesses?
Quite a few.
Who do you think
More
those
than one.
offspring are for?
What's the next question?
That's the thing that nobody want to talk about. Yeah, fucking up some of y'all childhood memories. Simba and Nala in The Lion King, guess what? They siblings. They're siblings.
That's true. That is true. All right. Yes. So what?
The incest king sleeps tonight, or
Okay, so next question. Yeah, so that was a quick one. The one about is there less masculinity? Yeah, there is. Because we have what 3-4 generations of women raising men.
In single parent households.
And here's the thing: you could love your mama, your sisters, your babysitters, your grandmamas all day. Hey, look, I'm not admonishing any of those women. They can't raise you to be a man, bro. They can't because they can't do it themselves.
Man, I don't give a fuck about no other person.
All right.
Well, you know what, Zias? Then maybe this ain't the motherfucking video for this. I'm trying to bestow knowledge to the young brothers because I actually do look back for the motherfuckers coming up behind me, bro. Because I don't want them motherfuckers done up like I was, bro. You see what I'm saying?
You know,
let's give them the wisdom.
I mean, I kind of get where you're coming from because I like to live my
Nick
life
is in the building.
So
Nick, what's happening, bro?
Not much. I was going to agree with what Drag was saying. I'm like, shit. If I was going like my, grandfather, I would have got like 15 kids or something from 4 different women or some shit.
I don't know if I can take that much.
What was your prime directive? Be fruitful and multiply.
Yes, and I agree with that, but don't forget child support costs.
Yeah, I know. So make sure your pull-out game is on point.
Pull out game.
Never been a problem.
I've been the current reigning champ for about 9 years straight now.
Okay.
All right, so are we? Oh, Carlos in the building. Carlos is in the building. Just tell him how it is. Why do you want men to be more effeminate when women don't even like other women? Shake.
Ooh.
To hop on
Talk to him, Carlos.
People don't like other people in general.
Yeah.
Talk to him, Carlos. That's a very good point, right? That's a very good point, ain't it?
Well, it's just to point the finger. It's just to point the finger at anyone else but themselves.
That's a very good point. The irony, dude. You spend enough time thinking and talking about this shit, bro.
It's deep-seated self-hatred.
Next question.
You all right?
Dude, I'm stifled, dude. I'm biting my damn tongue so hard, bro.
Try not to say it. Huh? We'll say it for you.
Here's the thing. Demonetization is one thing. I'm trying not to get deplatformed. You talk about the shit we talking about, you'll get deplatformed.
Yeah.
So trust me, I'm aware.
Ain't no Illuminati with this shit. It'll happen tomorrow if you're not careful.
Yeah. So, dude, I gotta after we done with this video, I gotta put in the request to have monetization placed on the vid. Dude, my last one, a Fatherless America review took them 4 days. 4 days. And I barely cussed in that review, right? Dude, this one gonna take 2 weeks. If it even gets fucking approved at all, bro.
And by then, yeah.
And the bulk of that review, I was talking about the way the documentary was made, not even so much the single motherhood piece. 4 days?
It takes pain to make art, dude.
4 days, video. Bro. All right. So fifth and final question. Oh, we've already talking about. Well, okay. More specifically, is social media, news, and entertainment making us less masculine? Yes. Short answer, yes.
I disagree with that. There's
if you talk about right now, as far as this
hang on. Go ahead, Drag.
So it's making us more.
I said Drag, not Zias. What the fuck y'all is? Drag, then Nick, then Zias. Go.
So Drag. Was the question, is social media making people less masculine?
It says, is social media, news, and entertainment making us less masculine?
I guess the appearance of people being more effeminate, if that's what they're getting at, but me as a person, no. Like I don't move according to what's in pop culture and shit like that, right? But if you're talking about the overall image of a group of people, yeah, I can see that argument being made.
Yeah, and that's where I'm at. Yeah.
Yeah.
In terms of the portrayal, media portrayal. Yeah.
Well, that's the point I was going to say, because if we're talking about around this day and age, I would go with yes, but of course, to go up with Drag is saying, of course, it's not going to mediate mostly to you because you're more definitely a different person, but the average person, they cater more towards to that.
Personally, I would say that these things aren't making you change to be more feminine. You're doing that to yourself. If you're not smart enough to realize what the fuck you're actually looking at, then it doesn't matter what avenue or conduit to put that from, because is it the car's fault that you got in a car wreck?
Yes.
And what you were saying, Zayas?
I think social media and etc. just makes you uninformed and less intelligent, less willing to get the information on your own.
That is true. Which is why I tell y'all all the time, vet your fucking sources. Oh, speaking of which, real quick, and it could be just because I've been drinking, but real quick, because I remember one time somebody tried to come at me talking about Larry shared something on the OAW Facebook page that wasn't substantiated and da 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 da, and then like legions of fucking comments, motherfuckers posting all the fucking links to all the shit that fucking confirms what the fuck I posted, and I'm like, yeah, because I vet my fucking sources. It was when the Matrix 4 got announced. The Matrix 4, yeah. And this not this not credited, da 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 da, and then the Legion, and I'm like, yeah, because I actually vet my shit before I post it on social media. Thank you very much.
It's not vetted. What do you mean, like the movie's not getting made or what?
No, vetted in that, like, because someone was thinking like, oh, this fake news, right? And it's like, no, it's a real thing that's happening.
Yeah, like that's kind of confirmed, but.
Yeah,
it's Facebook.
But I had posted it like what, hours before everybody else did. Right. Like I posted it like the morning of, and everybody else didn't start sharing it until later that afternoon.
Yeah, you gotta love Facebook. They're just so ill-informed until they're ill-informed. This is why I don't go on Facebook for any legitimate.
I agree with Trent.
What's that?
It's designed that way, Trent.
Social media is a massive failure. It makes you angry, depressed, sad, etc. Actually, it's not. Social media.
It makes me happy.
Social media is actually a massive success. You want to know why?
That makes you angry, depressed, sad, and etc.
Okay.
Depends what the goal is.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what the goal is. The goal is to make money, which they've done. Mm-hmm. They've done the developers. The developers by social media have designed social media in such a way that, consider this for a moment, right? Because, and for the record, this is not my thought. I'm paraphrasing someone else, but social media is just like gambling. It arouses and stimulates all the exact same mental cues as a slot machine or a blackjack table. And it's designed to be just as addictive, because what's the whole purpose of a fucking casino? To get you to spend your money on it. Same thing with motherfucking social media. What's the purpose of social media? To get you to stay on the platform so that they can earn more in fucking ad revenue, because the longer you're on, the more page impressions, the more money they make. Oh, and then the more likely you are to actually turn around and buy some shit that you saw on their page. How do I know what the fuck I'm talking about?
Because of them greenbacks.
What was my main form of income on fucking YouTube? Ad revenue. How is YouTube designed to work? What's the main metric by which What's the main metric by which YouTube analytics is predicated on?
Views.
It's not views. It's not views.
It's not views. I thought when you get a payout based on views, but
no, it's watch time.
Oh, watch time. Oh, yeah, it is watch time. Yeah, because it used to be views. Yeah, because now
used to be views. Now it's watch time.
You are right, because now you need 1,000 subscribers, but you need like 500,000 watch hours or some shit like that.
Mm-hmm. That is because it's about keeping you on the platform so that they can make money off of you. That's the point. That's the point.
These people are like slave masters.
It's
What?
a strategy. Like you find something you want to watch, and then guess what? That gets you there longer. And oh, you want YouTube Premium? You want to listen to this while your phone is muted? Cool.
Why don't anyone fight against it?
Say what?
The platforms.
You need a lot of money to fight against it.
To fight against what? You gonna fight against social media? Why? It's another product. Fighting against social media is like fight. Well, people do fight against shampoo. So
The YouTube, what you were referencing.
what about it?
People
Why
have
would I
to
fight
want
against it?
that, though.
Never mind, I misunderstood.
Yeah, I mean,
People have to want that, though.
I don't really have that big of a problem with the way in which, I mean, I have my issues with the way in which the business of YouTube is conducted, but I mean,
Algorithm.
it is
The
what it
algorithm
is.
is the main
It is what it is, right? Like,
I'd say the algorithm is the main issue.
yeah, probably so, but even still, dude, it's like, okay, so what? You gonna cry about it? You gonna take your ball and you gonna go home? Because I did that shit before. And I didn't fucking like it. Like, dude, I remember last year I was having a conversation with my dad, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm thinking about going back." This was before I came back, and I was like, I'm thinking about going back to YouTube." And he was like, "Oh, well, why would you go back to YouTube? Because you told me about all the stuff that happened, all the business shit." And I'm like, "Yeah, but guess what? It's like, I kind of took my ball and I went home, which was the worst fucking thing I could have ever done. Instead, because the fucking game changed on my ass, what I could have done is I could have been like, all right, bitches, ball game.
Adapted to
This
that
is
motherfucker.
exactly, because guess what? Taking your ball and going home, to bring this back on topic, is feminine as fuck. You want to know what's conventionally masculine? Adaptation. Ball game. That ball game mentality. Be like, oh, okay, this is the new game? All right, then fuck it then. Ball game. Let's get it. Let's get it.
Damn. So fierce determination is a masculine trait.
It is.
Procrastination, on the other hand.
It's a feminine trait.
Is it really feminine, or is it just a weak, undesired trait in general?
Feminine.
I don't know. A woman that procrastinates that I would be attracted to doesn't seem all that interesting to me.
All right, fellas. So yeah, so we going. We coming up on the 2 hour mark.
Damn.
Yeah, I know. Welcome to OAW. This is what happens.
This has been fun. This has been real.
This is what happens.
Thanks for letting me on.
I am going to say. So, do any of you guys have any other thoughts on the topic?
No, I enjoyed it. I liked the challenge. I like talking to you guys again, as always. So I look forward to more discussions. If people like seeing me or Gene and other people, Zayas on here, then let Larry know. And we'll come back. Oh, Cash App Dragnot. There you go.
Yeah, real quick. I'll just let you guys, just let everybody watching know. So, just so you guys know, discussion of the week is that is the segment that is usually catered towards like more like societal discussions, more like real world like topical issues. I've talked about entertainment things in discussion of the week. I mean, you can look up discussion of the week on my channel. You'll find plenty of video. I mean, I've talked about shit as it pertains to like the entertainment industry, as it pertains to literature, art, film, all that type of jazz. So it's not just like societal type things, but that's what the that is what the segment is most popular for. And guess what? If you all have a topic that you want to suggest for discussion of the week, guess what you can do? Guess where you can request one. Patreon.com/OAW. Guess what else? Guess how much it actually costs?
$1.
No. Zai.
350.
Nope. Zai, you were saying something.
I'm gonna say, tell him
Oh, what?
how much it costs.
Oh, you were just saying, tell him. Nick,
Yeah.
you know how much it costs?
$5.
No, you're wrong, actually. Jamal, you know how much it costs?
I do not.
You want to guess?
10.
10. 10. That's it. $10.
You get expert
$10.
advice.
I didn't think I would be correct, but
$10. That's all it costs. That's all it costs. Oh, and dude, actually, let me put into perspective what I'm talking about. Mrs. Mims earlier this evening dropped that in a super chat. That's all.
That's money
10.
taken out of my super chat. She took that out of my super chat money for my fans on my page. So that's a freebie for me to y'all.
Just 10. Just 10. Trent, I see yours. Yours is coming up next month, though. Trent, tell him how much is it? It's only 10. It's only 10. Nick, can you do me a favor? Can you tell the people what else they also get for that $10?
What, like video discussions, requests, and stuff like that?
Well, so $10 gets you a video request, just like this one, where you get to suggest the topic for discussion of the week, just like this one right here. But guess what else you get for that $10?
How much?
What you get?
Does anybody know what else you get for the $10? See, this let me know y'all niggas ain't seen my Patreon page. Who knows what else you get for them $10?
Pastor me, Larry himself.
A date.
No. Wrong.
What?
Both of you wrong. Shame. Pox on your
A
house.
review.
No. So you get access to the OAW Vault, which is the original 2 seasons of Otaku Assemble Weekly. You will not find those fucking videos on YouTube. You can only get those on Patreon. There are over 50 of them motherfuckers, and I know because I upload them each and every fucking week. Well, actually, I
So that's
upload them
what
at
it
the
is.
start of the month. But the point being is that's not the point. Point being is that's over 50 fucking videos. By the time I'm done with this, cause what? I just uploaded episode 55. So it's like there's gonna be over 60 exclusively OAW Vote. You get access to that. Guess what else you get access to? Does anybody know?
Embarrassing baby pictures.
No, because I don't have it.
Oh, that'd be funny.
Yeah.
Say, where's my credit card?
I actually don't have any.
Oh, okay.
You might not know this, but Larry was never a baby.
I was the cutest baby as a child, you know.
Does anybody know? So guess what? You get access to any Patreon exclusive content, independent of the OAW Vote. Any fucking exclusive content you get access to.
I'll get whole king caboodle.
Right.
That is a given. That is Patreon.
Yep.
That's a
Yep.
good
Yep.
deal.
Yep.
Technically drive the content of the channel if you had that. Technically.
Yep. Guess what though? See, that's 3 things I mentioned you get for just $10 fucking dollars. Guess what though? You get something else. Guess what else you get?
Nasty.
Expert
For
relationship advice.
$10.
Nasty.
Guess what else you get for $10?
Tell him.
Tell him. You want me to tell him?
Tell him.
You
Tell it
get
over.
You should.
you get to join in on the monthly Q&A. Just like these motherfuckers are in this live stream right now, you get to be in the live stream
Oh,
on camera with the Q&A.
Yeah, you go.
Shit.
You get to ask Zayas what he's high on today. You get to ask, what kind of science I'm doing. You get to ask, fucking Mr. Ayers about, fucking Asian chicks, all type of stuff.
That is four perks that you get for just $10.
Great, by the way, to answer that question.
That you get for $10.
I need you to give me them Asian chick, tips though. That's important.
Act
Uh,
now.
My
Bend the
Act-
leg to
hang
the
on,
side.
hang on. Act now, and I will even throw in a thank you email, personally written by yours truly.
Is it going to be signed and documented?
No, technically speaking, you get a thank you email every time you pledge on Patreon. So
You get it anyway.
you get it anyway. You get it regardless.
You get nothing
it
by
twice.
hand. COVID-19.
You get it.
Yeah,
You get it regardless.
social distancing.
So anyway, thank y'all for contributing to that little skit. But so yeah, If you have a topic that you want to request for discussion of the week, once again, that is available at patreon.com/OAW and select the discussion of the week tier. Once again, just $10 and you get all those perks that I mentioned, which is access to the OAW Go, access to all Patreon exclusive content, and you get an invite to join the monthly Q&A at the end of the month.
Okay, yeah. Real quick, the next topic is from Trent, right? That's the value of college education part 2.
That will be the next discussion of the week.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
That won't.
Oh,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, can you have Trent send you specific questions, and I'm gonna try to see if I can get Nate in here for that, so he can just block off because he ain't doing. All his cases are on hold. He ain't doing nothing. So, I think having Nate in here to talk about that will be an interesting experience because you know his background, right? No. So I think he actually has an undergrad in like physics, but then he has a law degree. Like he's an actual lawyer, and he was a former assistant district attorney for New York.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So his perspective on education is pretty interesting.
Okay.
So anyway,
right.
Yeah, I'll check about that because I know Trent wants because me and Bryce did the original. That's why Trent said part 2. Me and Bryce did the original one way back, like 2013, and he wanted us to do like a follow up to it, right? But yeah, I'm currently have that planned. Assumingly, that will be next month. That will be in June.
Okay. Yeah. And if some of y'all have questions, hit Larry up. Like I said, there's a wealth of knowledge, and I know quite a few people, so I can probably pull them in here.
So I'll tell you this. So once again, I want to thank my esteemed panel for coming tonight. I know you guys probably tired, so y'all don't have to stick around for the questions part. I'm gonna be going through these comments, hitting up some questions. Y'all can stick around if you want, but y'all don't have to.
Okay, I'm gonna probably head out and playing some Atlas and about to check on the wife. So I will catch y'all a little later. Thank you for inviting me.
Right now, it was good to hear your voice again and talk with you, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm around. I'm on YouTube every other morning. So
give me up early as a motherfucker too.
Yeah, I appreciate you, Larry.
Later.
Good to hear your voice again as well, man.
I appreciate you too, brother. Good to see you. I'm glad you're doing well.
Yeah, I'm not where I was when you met me, so I'm good.
Me too.
That's good. That's good.
Instagram.com/Lies to the Shadows. Holla.
I appreciate it, Zias. Thanks for coming. All right, and then there were three. So let's see. Let me see, going through some of these questions. I actually don't know how many of these we'll answer. Because I was kind of like just looking at questions throughout the discussion. Let's see. I see more comments than questions.
Let me take a look at these.
Wait, so what?
I said, let me take a look at these.
Yeah, I'm seeing more. Let me see. Yeah, I think I might put that back like that. Okay. Yeah, I'm seeing more comments than questions. Let's see. Let's see. Going.
What is Jay's Asian nationalities preference? Mine is Japanese and Chinese, maybe Malaysians, half black, half Asian.
Wow, there's no Korean in there.
However I can get them. I have to be attracted to them pretty much. It doesn't really matter. I don't know. It's funny. I talk about Asians. I end up dealing with Caucasians more than anything.
But
no,
same way, but it's either Caucasian or.
It's not really the same thing. But no, I get what he's saying. Sometimes I deal with them. Sometimes I don't. I can't help but to feel like there's a little bit of a racial stigma, mainly or oriented from like their family or parents or whatever, because it's
Oh,
like
you don't
the
say.
Asian the Asian girls out here tend to like be. I mean, at least the ones I encountered.
Be right
They're
back.
kind of
Be right
okay.
back.
All
Y'all
right,
can go
man.
ahead because y'all talking about them
They
Asian
tend to be
chicks.
kind of like scared of the idea of dealing with a black guy because of
Yeah, a lot of his family
rumors.
related. So, yeah.
Well, that too, and the racial shit too. I mean, it doesn't really bother me, but it's like, well, that's too bad.
Yeah,
You know, I
I
knew
mean, it
people.
depends on how generalized and example like Americanized they are. Because
Hmm.
I tend to notice more ones that are like definitely very,
Oh God, the ones
yeah,
that are super
Americanized.
Americanized, they're basically white girls at this point because
Yeah,
they don't act. They don't like. It's not that I'm expecting anything beyond who they are, but I haven't met one that's not Americanized to the point where their previous culture, whatever. I mean, some were maybe born in another country, but was mostly raised in this country. It really depends on the person. Uh,
hmm
but the ones that are a little bit more in touch with the quote unquote Asian side, for the lack of a better term, they tend to be a little bit more traditional in that regard as well. So,
yeah. And the one thing I've noticed too is even the ones that particularly like black men, they like a certain particular type of a black man. If you get what I'm saying.
yeah, I don't look like that particular type of black guy.
Oh, no, I
You
don't
know,
either, or usually act that way either.
I don't know. I don't know what that is. Uh,
I, I
I
don't.
I'm not.
It's more of what's presented, especially if you don't deal with a lot of that culture per se. You know what I'm saying?
For
Like,
my environment, I'm not considered what would be a typical traditional black male. Uh, so,
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's like how you perceive. Like most people could perceive certain people in another race, or that's all they know without really interacting with them like that. That's what I was saying.
right, huge misconceptions and all that.
hmm
And it's a shame too because people they don't really realize what they're missing out on whenever they meet people that they just generalize in the back of their mind. I have a lot of family members that are like that. I tell them about some of the people I'm beginning to associate with that they haven't met, and one of the first questions they ask me is, "Are they black or white?" And in my mind, I'm like, "What fucking difference does it make?" But they're from
Uh,
like a previous generation, so that racial stigma in them, like they're not gonna be able to shake that because that's just instilled in them. So
my folks a little bit, yeah, can shake a little bit off of that, but yeah, they do ask that often.
yeah. And I get why. It's like, okay, you were born during the Jim Crow era, blah blah blah, but I wasn't, and it's not that I don't care. It's just that
Wait a second.
Or
So,
I would say the civil rights era, technically, my folks. Yeah.
wait, what did I miss? Because something just occurred to me. I'm like, we supposed to be answering questions pertaining to the topic. What does your affinity with Asian women have to do with the state of masculinity in the black community?
It's just relatable.
it was one of the questions. I've been the king of derailment, so it happens. But yeah,
But it is
uh,
relatable to the topic.
How?
ironically, yes. Well, I mentioned like the idea of that some Asian women in my area, what their perceptions are, what a black man is, and
Yeah, that's
why
what
they
we're talking about.
may or may not deal with that. A lot of that, the stereotypes, and as Nick was saying, a lot of them they have a particular type of preference, and we pretty much concluded that yeah, like I don't know what you look like or anything like that, but I would imagine our personalities are similar in the regard that we don't look like that particular type of black guy. Like I just don't.
Well, not just
I don't have
looks. It's all about how the way you act and the way you
who you
present.
are and all that. Yeah. I'm kind
Okay,
of. I'm not. I'm a bit animated and a bit awkward, but yeah, it is what
okay.
it is.
So this is not going to be the sexual escapades
No,
of the fighting gentlemen.
no, this is not going to be.
Save that.
Unless the fans want to make it, do a page for that.
Wait, huh?
I don't know about that. Shit. Holy fuck, that'd
I
be
got some.
interesting.
Save that for the Q&A.
Oh man.
Actually, dude, I'll tell you what. Because I'm looking at the time, I think we're just gonna call it. We're just gonna wrap it right there, man.
That's fine.
I think we're gonna wrap it right there. All right. y'all got to see a little bit of the after show.
Yeah.
Cause we probably gonna kick it for a little bit in the stream afterwards. But
The post
I don't know.
show.
I'm thinking about making that a Patreon thing.
Yeah, the post show.
Oh yeah, OAW after party,
Yeah, the post show.
I mean, when we're here.
like the after party or something like that. I'm thinking about making that a Patreon thing. I don't know.
Right. As soon as it begins, I'm opening the bottle of wine or some shit.
We'll see. I'll see what the demand is for that, and I'll make that a Patreon thing.
Wait, you do polls on your Patreon? Make it a poll.
Polls?
Yeah.
No, I don't do polls on the Patreon. I do polls like on the YouTube and Facebook.
Okay.
But no, it was just another like additional like exclusive I was thinking of putting on Patreon. That's all.
Yeah, that's all I'm
right.
saying. You know, for the Patreon fans to vote on if they want to see, particular certain content or whatever you're thinking about.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
I see you. All right, guys. So we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna wrap it up here. Like I said, once again, want to thank everyone for watching live. Thank everyone watching after the fact. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. As always, share on social media. Tell your friends. Follow me on social media. Follow me on Facebook. Facebook.com/OAW Entertainment. Twitter.com/OAWENTMT. And Twitch.tv/OAW_entertainment. And last but certainly not least, support OAW. Become a patron at patreon.com/OAW. And with that being said, this has been Larry Williams.
Fighting gentlemen. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Thanks for coming, even though I came in a little bit late. But yeah.
All right.
Same. It was real late.
Mm-hmm.
And we are signing off. Until next time, peace.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?